Founded in 1854, Omaha is strategically located right in the center of the United States. Although Omaha's economy began with a focus on railroad and meatpacking, its economy today is dynamic and diverse. In fact, Omaha is the home of five Fortune 500 companies: Conagra Foods, Union Pacific, Mutual of Omaha, Peter Hewitt, and Berkshire Hathaway. Omaha continues to grow as a major U.S. metropolitan, mainly through its local leadership, which always defined the Omaha idea as a city by the community for its community.
In 1895, Omaha was the home of the Nebraska State Fair, but the State Fair Board, angry because Omaha businessmen had failed to provide suitable evening entertainment for families attending the fair, laid down an ultimatum: provide entertainment other than saloons, gambling houses, and honky tonks for the 1895 fair, or lose it to Lincoln. First, financial needs were met by Omaha businessmen to provide the needed improvements for the city and the state fair. Then, on the evening of March 28, 1895, a meeting was called with 60 of the most prominent businessmen of Omaha in attendance. At this meeting, the 12 men who had taken charge of the festivities of Fair Week presented an ambitious plan for securing all of the floats which had appeared in February's New Orleans Mardi Gras parade for the Omaha Fair. These 12 men became the original members of the Board of Governors of the Knights of Exarban. Their journey to New Orleans to obtain the Mardi Gras floats brought them into contact with Rex, Proteus, and Coma Society of the Crescent City, the civic group which organized the Mardi Gras festivities. The Omahans were convinced that a permanent organization such as the Rex, Proteus, and Coma Society was just what Omaha needed to add zest to its progressive outlook. On the train ride back from New Orleans, the Omahans named their new organization. Why not reverse the name of our beloved state, since everything seems to be going backwards these days? One member suggested. Another suggested that since this group had saved the fair for the city, the organization should be called the Knights of Exarban. Thus, Exarban was born. After the state fair was moved to Lincoln in 1899 by order of the legislature, Exarban, led by Omaha's most prominent businessmen, took the reins in creating new social, cultural, and commercial ventures. The Exarban Livestock and Horse Show opened in 1928 to inaugurate the new Exarban Coliseum. I started showing at the old Exarban at the stockyards in 1946. In 1948, we started out in wooden barns at the Exarban field. I showed for 6 years. My children showed there in the 1960s. Jack Miller. When I was a child, my dad bought cattle in Omaha. Our family first came here in 1974. We've been showing cattle, hogs, and sheep ever since. 7 children showed livestock as well as 14 grandchildren. Elmer Schneider. Now that our family's exhibiting time is complete, I will always look back upon our involvement with Exarban with fond memories of the integrity, honor, and dignity which encompasses the prestige of this magnificent show. Fred Knopp. I want to thank you for all the support that you have given the 4-H organization. The money that I received will be put towards my college fund. Aaron Caven. 1963 was my first trip to Exarban. I had the Grand Champion steer. His name was Whitey, and he was sold to Ross's Steakhouse. We remember him and the many wonderful people we met here. John Chevneny. For much of Exarban's history, horse racing in favorable tax status were the twin engines that drove its multi-million-dollar charitable contributions. So much so that by the mid-1970s, Exarban's annual charitable gifts totaled more than $1 million. I was a teller from 1975 until Exarban closed. I remember the lines of people at the windows. The days when we had 30,000 people at the track. We had a great time. Anonymous. I went to the horse races with the hot tip in the last race. The horse was 101 at race time. The horse won. I thought that my wife had put a couple of dollars down, and she thought that I had. Goodbye to $198 for lack of a $2 bet. Herbert Hansen. By the mid to late 1980s, however, other forms of legalized gambling sounded the death knell for Exarban's horse racing. From a peak of 1.3 million spectators in 1985, track attendance steadily declined until the last racing season in 1995. The Knights exited the racing business in 1992 when it sold the racetrack and grounds to Douglas County. In addition to the livestock show and horse racing, other of Exarban's ventures have included rodeos, which incorporate the livestock shows and continue today as River City Roundup, live entertainment that has included Bob Hope, Wayne Newton, Glenn Campbell, Sammy Davis, Bill Cosby, and the Statler brothers. The Coronation Ball, which is celebrated in the fall of every year to commemorate the state's agricultural heritage. Ice skating and hockey, parades, and a variety of other community service programs.